Hello friends, today we are going to discuss current affairs of 14th February newspaper. The newspaper is The Hindu. Okay, so open your front page. Now, the most important news items in this page are: first, Supreme Court to hear challenges on Aadhaar bills passes. See, this is very important because Aadhaar bill was passed as a money bill in last year and last session of the parliament. Okay, now Congress and other uh, some advocates have filed a petition under Article 21. See, this is not against a money bill. Here you need to point it out. Here you need to remember that money bill and power to authorize a bill as a money bill is solely the right of Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Okay, so you cannot file a case in Supreme Court that okay, this is not a money bill, this is not so something like that. You cannot file a case against that. However, they have filed the case under article 21 of the Constitution of India. So here you need, and Supreme Court had said that okay, they are not going to look into the procedural aspect of this Aadhaar bill, but they will look into its merit. Okay, that it is a money bill or not. And I quote, a bill and I quote, Mr. J.S. Kahar, CGI of India, had said that if the speaker says blue is green, we will tell her that blue is blue and not green. Therefore, what he is saying that they will examine the facts about this bill, that it is a money bill or not. However, the ground of application was Article 21. So, and further you can read what is money bill, Article 110 of the Constitution of India. Okay, you can read in that there are 6 or 7 criteria, which are only those criteria are necessary for a bill to be termed as a money bill. And here the word which is important is only if any bill satisfies only these 7 criteria which is written in the Article 110 of the Constitution of India, then those bills will be considered as a money bill. Rest all will not be considered. Okay, and see, in the argument there is a clause which says that withdrawal of money from the Consolidated Fund of India, and if there is a such case says, then in that case it will be termed as a money bill. And Mr. Rohatgi has argued that since Aadhaar bill is concerned with the welfare of citizens, welfare schemes, and linkage of Aadhaar facility to various welfare mechanisms, therefore money will be withdrawn from the consolidated fund. Okay, so therefore he is arguing that on these grounds it is an Aadhaar bill. It is a money bill. However, in the Article 110, it is written that only these criteria has to be there. But as if you read simple reading of Aadhaar will give you the picture that not only this criteria, there are many other points are there in the Aadhaar bill which need to be looked into. Therefore, Supreme Court has taken the case, and many more news items will come upon this article. Therefore, you just note it down. Okay, moving on to the next one. Next one is Anil Ambani firm to service over 100 US Navy ships. So this is important in the sense that United States has recently signed an agreement with India that was called LEMOA, Logistic Exchange Memorandum of Agreement, under which both of these countries, India as well as USA, can use their military bases for servicing and maintenance purposes. Okay, so based upon that agreement, in United States has signed an MSRA. You can underline the treaty, MSRA, Master Ship Repair Agreement. Okay, and this US Navy has signed with India's Reliance Defense. So only that much of news is important. Okay, and here an objective question may be asked in prelims, like US Navy's which fleet, with which fleet this agreement has been done. So it's 7th fleet. seventh fleet. Okay, and seventh fleet, where does it work? It works in Indian Ocean and Western Pacific Ocean. Okay, so just these two basic points. Other than that, nothing is important. Move on to page number 15. Here the important news items are: first, center puts onus on states to set factories threshold limit. So this is related to labor reforms which is going on in our country. So connect with the dots. First, center had proposed that factories law will be applicable to all factories that employ at least 40 workers. Okay, so in the Factories Act of 1948, it was written that 10, if any company or a factory deploy or employ 10 workers and uses electricity, then factory laws will be applicable. And further, if it employs 20 workers or more but do not use electricity connections, then also factory law will apply to them. Therefore the threshold was 10, and 10 plus electricity and 20 without electricity. Okay, center proposed that let us make it to 40 workers per factory. Okay, so who will have the problem? Obviously the trade unions, because the gap of 10 to 40, all these companies will do not follow Factories Act. And suppose some companies do not follow Factories Act, then what will happen? Then workers will be at loss because they will not be compensated as per the Factories Act. Okay, so what center has done now? Center has now moved this threshold factor of 40. It the decision to be taken the decision will be now taken by the states. Okay, so now states will clear, okay, they need whatever threshold limit they need as per their suitability, state suitability. Therefore it's just shifting of the goalpost, like who will start the reform process. In the same page, the next one is allow PSUs. PSUs stands for public sector units to sell power on exchanges without a state's node. So here Mr. Piyush Goyal is arguing that uh, companies like NTPC should sell surplus power on exchanges without waiting for the permission from the state government. It means that de facto they will have yes, and if any state government has any problem with that, then they will say no, we do not need it. Okay, so technically there is always yes. Okay, it is his proposal. And what is the current situation? Currently, if any company, obviously central PSUs, have to send power to the states, then they need an approval from the states, like do you want it or not. So why to such an approval process? Why not make it a de facto yes? So it is his suggestion that make it a de facto yes. Okay, so by that way, unless the state expresses that they do not need the energy, so it will become an automatic approval to sell the power. So this is it. In the same page, the last news item is renewables obviate need for new coal capacity. So here it is a report of TERI, the Energy and Resources Institute. So they have published a report. Its name is High Renewables Scenario. Okay, so and they are saying that whatever investment is done in coal, it's done. No need to do another or extra investment for the next 7-8 years. Why? Because we will have incoming capacity from renewable energy, and it will be so much that we can have it can complete the needs of energy. Okay, so they are of the view that India should not invest further in coal, at least for the next 7-8 years. And they have given some data related to it, so you can write it down. It may be important. Like renewable energy targeted capacity by 2021-22 is 175 gigawatt, which includes 100 gigawatt of solar, and which will further grow to 275 gigawatt by 2025-26. So these two are important. And further, What are the challenges? What will be the challenges in coming times? First one will be grid infrastructure, building storage capacity, and planning and operations. And further, you can also add net metering in the same news item. Okay, so that is it from this page. Now move to page number 12. Here two important news items. First, Manipur talks sabotaged Sage Center. So here our Minister of State of Home Affairs, Kiran Rijiju, he is saying that the tripartite talks among the center, the Naga groups, and the Manipur government failed last week. And why he failed? Because he is of the view that it was sabotaged. So that is the government view. It was sabotaged by Congress. So the moment they say Congress, it becomes political. So you just need to know that the talks have failed. Only that much. Okay. Move to the next news. In the same page, the news item is "We are fully sovereign," says visiting Taiwanese leader. See, look this thing from IR perspective. IR stands for international relations. So China has one China policy, and under one China policy, they consider Taiwan as its part. Okay, so therefore Taiwan cannot take any unilateral decision. However, in the international forum, even at United Nations and other platforms like World Bank, IMF, and many other platforms, regional forums, RCEP, and many other forums, Taiwan is represented, and therefore their leaders, Taiwanese people, they are of the opinion that they are independent, and they have been independent since like centuries. Therefore, here Taiwanese leaders are uh, making this one China policy as their bargain point for their diplomatic engagement with the world. Okay, so read this article in that sense. Otherwise, it's not much relevant. In the same page, Jammu and Kashmir government launches e-prison project. See, this is important from prelims perspective. Otherwise, it's not. So, uh, questions may be asked like which of the states have initiated e-prison project. So you have to answer Jammu and Kashmir. See, such questions were asked last year, like which states have inducted uh, industrial projects, or similar state-based questions were asked last year. So it may be asked this year. So just in the case, you may prepare. Move on to page number 8. Here, pre-related questions is what is Kambala? Okay, so Kambala is a traditional buffalo race in the state of Karnataka. Okay, so remember this much, it may be asked. And further related to this news, Karnataka government has passed a bill, and they have sent it to the governor for their assent. And the bill is related to exemption of this Kambala and bullock cart racing. So two things, Kambala and bullock cart racing, from the ambit of the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act of 1960. So this act is in news since in the state of Karnataka, in the state of Tamil Nadu for Jallikattu, and in the state of Andhra Pradesh for cockfighting. So you have to prepare this Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960 from inclusive perspective, and it may be asked in either prelims or mains. In prelims simple, or in mains you have to analyze all the three states, its implications. Okay, and you can also relate this act with environment. Okay, you can also relate this with environment, you can also relate with and biodiversity. So you can relate other topics with this act. Okay, so this is it from today's newspaper. Thank you guys, and next time we will come with more comprehensive news analysis. Thank you.